Latest batch of COVID shots are out, but be prepared to pay up if you don't have health insurance. How many people are unvaccinated over there? Like, are people still looking for their first one and now they have to pay for it?
Should I tell my talk about
How much you loved it?
How much I love. So I really love COVID.
One I find really funny. I mean, it's tricky to talk about COVID. There's a lot of contention. Oh, you want to get some food?
Very hungry. I feel like I'm not going to be able to participate.
What do you feel like? Wait, I gotta send pepperonis. Oh,
That's what you're up for.
Okay. Well, let me talk about this.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell this is about. So this is all on you.
So I think it's really, really strange, right?
I got your back chat. I'll try to get ads off the screen.
Oh, no, I like ads. They're kind of funny. Okay, I'll order some food and then we can get back to it. What is it?
I better talk, shouldn't I?
Wait, no. Okay,
You do that. I'll talk.
yes.
So COVID shots no longer free for uninsured. Is this Australia? No, this is
This
ABC,
is America.
America.
What
So
I find
you guys had free shots.
Yeah, that's
That's
crazy.
pretty cool.
That's so un-American.
I didn't know you guys had free
That's
shots
so
because we
un-American.
had free shots.
Yeah, but
and
that's
then-
normal for us.
Yeah. And then now it's like you have to pay for it now unless you're like a pensioner or you've got some pre-existing health condition.
Which-
I think.
They don't have the prawn ones anymore? Oh, well, do you want some of this instead? I wanted something a bit more ricey. What I think is kind of funny, like, look, I think COVID's a tricky one because I had a lot of friends that went a bit crazy, anti-vax kind of stuff, and like, it's a weird thing. Like, yeah, we both get the same thing. I'm vaccinated. I got it.
I'm vaccinated so many times.
Yeah, I got 3. How many did you get?
I might have gotten 4.
Yeah, and I think like the kind of overarching narrative of like doing your part, like taking a risk on for yourself in order to protect more vulnerable people, I think that's the motivation. But, I wasn't completely sold. I don't like big pharmaceutical companies, especially Pfizer and all these other guys. Like, they've done really stuff throughout history. Like, I don't trust these institutions for profit. But at a certain point, it's like this is the only choice, and it's like an ethical choice. But on the same hand, I'm not gonna write off people who are anti-vax. Like, I think there are legitimate concerns around any capitalist company trying to give you a healthcare solution. That's whatever. But what I find really funny is that a lot of the anti-vax theories are so stupid, so incredibly stupid. Like, they're like a secret cabal that's trying to depopulate you, and you're putting this stuff, they're tracking you. I don't know, it's all insane. And I think it's so funny when it's like you've got that narrative, but then you've got the realities of capitalism where obviously they don't want to be giving it out for free. Like, if it was like this weapon that they're using against the population, it's just like it would be free. But obviously, no. It's a healthcare product. Yeah, it's so funny. So obviously, it's in an environment like America, it's not going to stay free for very long.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. Latest batch of COVID shots are out, but be prepared to pay up if you don't have health insurance. How many people are unvaccinated over there? Like, are people still looking for their first one and now they have to pay for it?
Should I tell my talk about
how much you loved it?
How much I love. So I really loved COVID. And one of the things I really loved about COVID. See, I'm a big authoritarian. Just like I've got an authoritarian spirit. I love the state doing, because it just reminds me that the state can actually do things. And
no, that's true.
like during
I like the mobilization of resources to tackle a shared issue.
And like, so in New South Wales, the way they did it in the early days was they at Olympic Park they set up a vaccination center, which was free. You just booked the day before and you'd come. And Olympic Park was an area built for the Olympics. It's all state made. It's all these wide boulevards to deal with massive crowds. And they then turned these into vaccination centers. So you catch the train out there, you're all masked up, you go in, and it just worked perfectly. There was long lines, but they moved really, really quickly. There was way too much staff, so that there was like staff in every corner.
They were just there to
telling you where to go. They were just smiling.
Chatting
it all
to you.
moved really, really nicely. You sat down, you got your vaccination, everyone was in a great mood, and then you walked off. And then you come back 2 weeks later and you get your shot again. And it was just like, wow, when there's a problem, which the government decides it needs to do something about,
It'll just
it can do
roll
it.
out the red carpet.
It can just throw money at it, and it can be efficient.
Yeah.
It can actually do things.
And pleasant.
And it was very,
Well, I mean,
very
apart
pleasant.
from how unpleasant it is getting jabbed by something.
I don't mind that.
I do like needles as well.
I really like getting vaccinated. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm being upgraded. It's like you level up.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like your talent tree.
Yeah, it's like
now I'm
I'm
immune
going
to
to skill
fire.
into be a skill into that. Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah.
But
No, that is inspiring and also depressing because you look at other issues that could be solved this way.
like climate change.
Yeah.
Just like the amount of resources that could be thrown at and how nice. That's the thing as well, because when you go to hospital, it's a miserable experience.
Yeah.
All the workers
Underfunded.
are so stressed out of their minds. There's crazy people having a panic attacks and losing their mind in there, and because there's nowhere else for them to go. But no, this time when it needed to be done, and it was in the interest of capitalism that everyone gets vaccinated and goes back to work.
Yeah.
They could do it, and it was pleasant.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Oh my God. Yeah. I remember just like the most insane coming out at the time where like someone.
All your Serb mates had
I
crazy.
had pretty much half the Serb community here in Australia moved back to the old country. But they had vaccine mandates in Serbia as well. It's just that Serbia
didn't
cannot
enforce
enforce
it,
anything. Like you can't do it in that country. Like you don't have to. Yeah. I remember there's some it's not conscription, but you have to kind of show up to like an army thing, so they can just like document you, keep you down on the list for who knows what happens in the future. No one does it. I remember like I showed up there, and as soon as I arrived, I had a letter in the mail, and it said like, "Oh, Alex, you've got to come for this conscription checkup thing." And I was freaking out. I'm like, "Oh, like I'm here on holiday. Like, am I gonna be in a war? Like, what's happening?" And then I mentioned my neighbors, and they're like, "Yeah, we get like 10 of those a day. You just throw them out." And they was like, "What are they gonna do? Are they going to come here and drag you out of their house? Like, it's not going to happen."
There's no one in the army. There's no one to do that. No one shows up to conscription.
So I remember we had such, but also like the state can't enforce anything. It's the same thing. Like they had like a ticket system for buses where you're meant to like buy a key card, kind of like we have here. You buy a card that's like preloaded with money, and every time you go on a bus, you tap on and tap off. Every single bus in Serbia, the machines are ripped off. They're ripped off, and there's graffiti all over the walls being like, "Stop making us try to pay for buses."
Good. Well, that's a good approach.
Yeah, and then at one point, I remember I was with Alex. I took him to the old country, and we're on the bus, and the inspectors come on, and I'm an idiot. I'm like, look, I like to think of myself as Serbian, but in this case, I was very much a foreigner. In that they told me, they were like, "Oh, you didn't pay for a ticket," which I didn't, and I agreed. I was like, "Yes, I didn't pay for a ticket," and they went off the bus because they asked me to. And then we had to pay a fine, which is like $20. My family's ripping the shit out of me for weeks. Like old women be like, "You're a man. You're a big man. How can you left the bus because they told you to?" And it's like my grandma was like, every time they come and tell me I didn't pay for a ticket, I scream at them. I say, "This bus is hot and the air conditioning's broken. You should be paying me to be on this thing. What is wrong with you? Like, you can't let these people tell you what to do. You gave them money because they asked you to give them money. You're a pathetic, like, weak piece of."
When I was on in high school, I was on the train once, and I was hanging out with some lad friends of mine.
Oh yeah.
And none of us got paid. We all jumped the gates to get on the train, and there was a ticket inspector, and he came and asked for our tickets. And he was kind of my friends. He started arcing up and shouting at them, and he just kept shouting over and over, "Detective, detective!" Because I think he got like inspector. Because they're called ticket inspectors.
Oh, but he got it wrong.
He was like detective. He just kept shouting, "Detective, detective! You're trying to come on here, detective, detective!" And the guy's like, "Please, sir, you need to pay." And he, "Detective, detective!" Eventually, the ticket detective just walked away. So we got out of it. So that's what you should have done.
That's what I should have done.
You're such a bloody wuss.
Yeah.
You paid the fine.
It's so painful. Yeah, well, even here in Australia, like one of my exes ages ago, she would just like put on her headphones,
ignore them,
and be like, and pretend that they're pamphleters.
Yeah,
they give it. They go to talk to her. He's like, "No, sorry,
no.
sorry,
not interested. Not interested."
No. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny though, because it's like, I was just talking about how much I like the state and when the state does things, but at the same time, I like it. It's the dialectics, if you will.
Yeah, I love. You say Serbia's anti-vax, so we got some Serbians in here. There's actually a lot of them in chat now, which is awesome. Or just Balkans in general. There was But anyway, Serbia is so anti-vax. Like, it's funny because, like, I think individuals are anti-vax. The government was towing the line and doing all the kind of stuff. Like, you know, there were rules. There were curfews. There were only old people could go out in the mornings to get their shopping, and because they were vulnerable and they have like their own space to do it. And then it was a crazy system. But I find this really funny. Buses in Serbia be from World War II. They're all busted. This guy says, Brother Xi will give us electronic buses. Like soon.
Silken Road.
Yeah.
Road.
The Belton Road.
Belton Road, not Silken Road.
Every country is Serbia. When did he say that? Felix Chapo Traphouse, every country is Serbia. That's just a Serbian nationalist statement.
I was talking to one of your Serbian friends once, and he was trying to tell me that I was getting so annoyed at him. He just kept naming things that Serbia invented. And then I got so furious when he told me that the concept of a country was first used to apply to Serbia. That every country is actually framed by our understanding of Serbia.
Yeah, that's true.
The first country was Serbia.
We are the first. We invented forks. Did you know that one?
Fuck up.
That's a really big one. We invented forks. Before that,
so annoying.
Before that, you know, these Germans, they think they're so civilized. Before Serbia invented forks, they were eating with their hands. We invented forks.
It's really, and then the stupidest things is when they start talking about kebabs.
But the food is
wrapping meat in bread. You invented that, did you, buddy?
Australia is so much worse than that. Australia has barbecue as a national tradition. It's like cavemen didn't.
But we didn't invent. Does anyone claim that we invented it? No one claims we invented it.
But it's like how
part
can you
of
have
our
that as
culture.
a national dish?
No, but the national dish doesn't have to be yours exclusively.